Hi, I'm Matthew Krause, of counsel with the Law Office of Will M. Helixon. Where am I from? I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan, a big college town, actually medium-sized college town, great place to grow up, lots of sports, lots of arts, lots of different viewpoints, lots of different kinds of people. It was pretty much offered everything that someone growing up could ask for. What influenced me growing up? I like sports a lot, especially golf, ice hockey, rugby, soccer, and I had my sports heroes like a lot of kids did, and just seeing some of my sports heroes and seeing people push themselves to the limit really influenced me. And then balancing the requirements of sports and music and academics just kind of taught me time management and taught me that I could go in multiple directions with my life. Before being a judge advocate in the Army, I was enlisted, and one time I got an Article 15 when I was enlisted, and going through that process and understanding that there was a process where I had rights and that kind of thing kind of sparked my interest in the Uniform Code of Military Justice and the law in general. Where did I attend law school? I attended law school at Wake Forest University School of Law in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Law school taught me, and this is part of my legal philosophy to this day, that the spirit of the law is sometimes more important than the letter of the law. And just because the letter of the law says one thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't be persuasive outside of what the black letter of the law says. What did I do after law school? After law school, I took a job in Charlotte, North Carolina with a firm that focused on business law and white-collar crime, business litigation. That's where I started to develop trial skills and started to develop kind of business acumen. So while working with the law firm, I was also actively drilling with the North Carolina National Guard. And during that time, September 11th happened, and I was mobilized, liked it, and decided that this could be something that I could do full time. So after the firm, I accessed into the active duty Army JAG Corps. Why did I join the Army? Well, it was a natural fit for what I was doing already, which was serving in the Army National Guard. And frankly, the JAG Corps in the Army was the biggest JAG Corps, and it seemed like at the time it had the most opportunities for me to go to different places. And also, it seemed like the best opportunity for me to be able to deploy. What jobs did I hold in the Army? I've pretty much held every type of job for an Army judge advocate. I've been a prosecutor, defense counsel, senior defense counsel. I was a brigade judge advocate twice, deputy judge advocate. I did an interagency job in Washington. I was a staff judge advocate of Fort Gregg Adams, and so practiced a lot of different areas of law and also supervised a lot of areas of law. I've been stationed, most of my career was either in Virginia, North Carolina, or Germany, but I've also been stationed in Washington, D.C., Michigan, Iraq, Afghanistan, deployments to Haiti, Kuwait, and got to see a lot of the world when I served in the interagency. What did I learn most being a staff judge advocate? I would say two things. One is that leadership isn't that hard, so long as you legitimately and honestly and sincerely care about the people who work for you. The second thing is a little bit more practical, I think, to the practice of law, and that is whenever I would take military justice actions to our commanding general, I got a good sense of what works and what doesn't, what's persuasive and what isn't. And it also gave me confidence that most commanding generals are going to read pretty much everything that we provide them. Why did I retire from the Army? I retired from the Army because I was in a parachute accident in North Carolina, and it caused a lot of injuries that at some point were just not conducive to me remaining in military service. Fortunately, I was over 20 years at that point, and I was able to retire. Why did I join the law office of Will M. Helixon? So first, this law office, in my opinion, is the most sophisticated military law office in the world. Second, this law office has some of my colleagues that I've worked with in the past. I've worked with Will in the past, and at the time, he was senior to me, and he was somebody who I looked up to and learned a lot from at the time. And for me personally, everyone in this law firm has worked for one of the services in some capacity. Most of us are former judge advocates, and in some respects, it feels like another assignment. And for me, it was really good transitioning from being an active duty Army officer, transitioning into civilian life, and being around other people who have had similar experiences to me, and then having clients who have had similar experiences to me, who understand the language that I speak, I understand the language they speak, and it just increases my comfort level substantially to continue to serve in that community. What are my goals as a warrior advocate? So my primary goal as a warrior advocate is I want to win. To be honest, it doesn't necessarily mean that I want justice to be done. I want to win. Within the bounds of the law and ethics, I still want to win. However I can do that honestly and legally with integrity, that's what I want to do. What motivates me to help service members? I know how hard it is to serve, to be on active duty. It's a hard job. It doesn't matter what MOS you have. And I mean, you raised your right hand just like I did. And I know how hard that is. And it wasn't an easy decision sometimes to raise the right hand and serve your country, but you did serve your country. And now, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to serve you. My legal philosophy is sometimes the spirit of the law is more important than the letter of the law. So what that means for me is, even though the letter of the law might provide a roadblock at first glance to getting a result that I want, sometimes if you go more deeper into the letter of the law and look at the spirit of the law, that can oftentimes be persuasive. How do I balance empathy and justice? As a civilian military defense counsel, I see, when I meet with a client, I see the humanness of the client. I see the difficult situation they're in, and I feel that for them. And for me, that helps me to try as hard as I can to get the best result for the client that I can. And does that mean that justice is going to be served? Hopefully, those two things complement one another. Sometimes they don't. But every time, that empathy is going to translate into how hard I work for the client. What do I bring to the table as a senior warrior advocate? I bring 26 years of military experience, which means I understand how military organizations operate. I understand where the friction points can be among staff. I understand what's persuasive to people who make decisions. And I know what can influence decision makers about your case. Why do I do what I do? Well, first of all, I love the law. I think it's fascinating. The intricacies of it, it's like putting a puzzle together every time I see a case. Why do I do what I do for you? It's because we hear all the time, thank you for your service, when they find out that, we're veterans. But this is my opportunity to say thank you for your service and then try to do as best as I can for your case. You defend the nation, we defend you.